Hey there. This week we are talking about the major scale. Now, if you were to play from C to C on a piano using only white keys, you would have a major scale. That's the only one that you can play with only white keys, which is why a lot of songs that you might hear or might have heard are in C major, because you don't have to play any black keys on the piano. So listen to this again. Now, what makes it sound major to us? Okay, well, one thing is this note right here, the 1, 2, third note of the scale, sounds like major. If I were to change that note, it becomes not major, and it becomes something that we don't talk about for a couple of weeks. What also makes it sound major is this right here. This is the 7th degree of the scale, going up to 8. If you do solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That, whenever we hear that T, it wants to go to do, and that gives us a sense of what the important notes of this scale are. Now, the thing that really makes a scale sound major, or any other sort of way, is the intervals between all of the notes. A major scale is simply made up of whole steps and half steps. Remember those? From week 1, the very first video, we talked about whole steps and half steps. In that case, we were talking about the piano keyboard and how a half step is the closest key with no keys in between. Here, let me show you something real quick. Do a rectangle, cut it in half, quarters, eighths. So I cut it in half, cut those in half, cut those in half. Put a black key there, put a black key there. Okay, I'm not an artist, so black key there, that's a group of 2, and here's our group of 3, and there's our piano keyboard. Excuse me. Feel free to write one of those on your paper when you're doing things or taking notes, and if you don't have a piano handy, because now we can see whole steps and half steps. For example, from C to D, remember the piano keyboard? Group of 2, white key in the middle. Oh, that's D. As a matter of fact, let's just remind ourselves. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C. So C to D, how many half steps is that? Well, C. 1, 2. 1 goes up to C sharp, or D flat, and then 2 goes up to D. So from here to there is 2 half steps. How about from D to E? 1, 2. How about E to F? Hey, remember that? That was one of our places where you have white keys next to each other with no key in between. White keys that are a half step apart. E to F. How about F to G? F, G. 2. G to A. G, G sharp, A. That's 2. A to B. 1, 2. And B to C. Hey, that's our other half step. So, there it is. Those are the intervals that make it a major scale. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Memorize 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Or, if you'd rather, we could talk about it in terms of whole steps and half steps. Remember, half step is one, one is a half step. 2 half steps is a whole step. So it could also be whole, half, whole, half. Whole, half, whole, half. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. If you give one hand the twos and one hand the ones, it's almost a little rhythm. Whole, half, whole, half. Or you don't have to do that because you're probably cooler than that. Okay? So that is the formula for a major scale. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Whole, half, whole, half. Okay, so let's have some fun with that. Let's do a happy little bass clef here, and let's go on A. This is your procedure. Pay attention to this. We want to do an A major scale. Step 1, write your notes up. Remember, in a scale, you have one of each note. 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, and 1A. And then if you want, you don't necessarily have to write this up, but I actually find it sometimes does help to write the formula up. Do you want to do half steps, or do you want to do the whole half thing? Okay, we'll do it the number way. So 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. To create an A major scale, we have to make the intervals fit this. So, I know the keyboard's up. Well, here, watch how fast we can do this. There's our keyboard. Don't try this at home. Now, A to B, is that 2 half steps? Yes. Okay, good. Move on. It's important to start from left to right, and once you say a note is right, you don't change it. So never change that B, because we just said A to B is 2 half steps. B to C, is that 2 half steps? No, because remember, B to C was our 2 white keys that are half step apart. B to C is 1 half step, so we need to add a half step to make it 2. So we sharp the C. Yes, we could have flatted the B, but then that would have messed up this first one that we already said was right. So again, once you figure one out, keep moving and don't change it. Now, C sharp to D, is that 1 half step? Yes, it is. D to E, is that indeed 2 half steps? Yeah. E to F, is that in fact 2 half steps? No. E to F is 1 half step, so we need to add a half step. We need to sharp the F. Now we have F sharp to G. Is that 2 half steps? Nope, it's 1, so we need to sharp the G. And then G sharp to A, is that, yep, good. There it is. There's our A major scale. Yeah, that sounds right. Good. Step 1, write up your notes. Step 2, if you want, write the formula. Step 3, starting left to right, correct notes, any notes that don't fit the formula. Let's do another one, because I know I'm having a great time. Okay. Do treble clef. And let's do a tricky one. D flat. Ew, D flat. It's not all white keys. Yeah, that's okay. That's not a problem. Now, just for kicks, we know we want to do a D flat major scale, so it has to start on D flat, not D. So I will play this scale as written. Doesn't sound quite right, does it? Actually, it does end up right, but we'll get to that. So, step 1, write your notes up so you have one of each letter. Step 2, write the formula. 2, 2, 1. 2, 2, 2, 1. You don't have to do the little V thing, but I find it helpful because I've seen students write the formula, but they move it over, and so it's actually between the wrong notes, or it's under a note instead of between notes. Okay, so D flat to E. We need 2 half steps. What do we got? Yeah, we actually have 3 half steps. We have too many half steps. So what do we need to do? Flat the E. Now we have 2 half steps. E flat to F, black key to white key, 2 half. Yes, that's good. F to G, is that 1 half step? No. F to G is 2 half steps, so we need to sharp the F. No, I was just seeing if you were paying attention. We can't do anything to the F because we know that this interval is correct. So we need to flat the G. So now we have G flat to A natural. Oh yeah, that's 3, so we need to make that down to 2. A flat to B natural is actually 3 half steps, so we'll have to flat that one as well. And then B flat to C, is that actually 2 half steps? Well, yeah, actually it is, so we're good there. And C to D flat, that is 1 half step. So we have made our D flat major scale. Good job. So a D flat major scale has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flats. We'll get into that next week. For this week, work on constructing major scales using the formula whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, or 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Great. Have a great day.